with this split. He's tried it a couple of times, hasn't really succeeded, but obviously most likely will be there.
So has played it in top lane once. Was that in the spring or was that in the summer?
There's been a lot of games. I can't remember which one it was, but we're going to see how it's going to work out.
Well, we'll see. We are looking like Zyra's going to be the support for Deficio, so not going to go with Nami, as he does have a really good win rate with Nami.
That could potentially be middle. Ooh. I mean, she's kind of fallen off the radar. I think Morden was like the only one that really played her, as well as Cowtard, who played with NIP originally to qualify back in the spring split. It could be a possibility, but I don't think Deficio's really even played her this split yet.
Well, they're going to leave it till the very last couple of seconds to finally lock it in. And there is the Fizz. My little crystal ball's out, ladies and gentlemen. I'm figuring things out.
Maybe you're just seeing things with all the medicine in your body. He's like, he sees a crystal ball, he sees a Fizz inside of it. But yeah, so we're going to see that. Fizz, great stats across the board right now in terms of this split. See Nuta go 2 for 2 on him. Bjergsen, we just know how damn good he is on every champion. And just to see him on a champion like Fizz, who's mechanically a little bit tough, but you see him on a champion like Zed and the plays he can make, he's going to just dominate that lane. But of course, Expeke does get the chance to counterpick him here, and it could be an Ahri, which is a really good pick against Fizz.
Yeah, let's see what he goes with. Ooh, and he was flashed on there. Maybe we're going to get that. No, it is going to be Ahri, as you said. And that is probably about the most maneuverable champion he can get to avoid the damage coming out from Fizz. That does mean, though, it will be Soaz, we believe, on Malphite in that top lane. It is currently with a teleport selected as well. We'll see whether that stays on there. Cyanide could switch it around, though, but we expect he will be in the jungle. Lee Sin making a very big resurgence in 3.10.
Yeah, he has. I mean, you pretty much see most junglers, if not all of them, playing him right now. We've seen, I believe, Molino even playing him once back in the day. But right now, looking at both compositions, NIP has something really scary kind of going on, but it's also counterproductive to what Fnatic picks. So you have that Jarvan Cataclysm to lock them all up. You have the String of Thorns to knock them right back up from Zyra. You could potentially have a Shen taunt come across multiple people. Then you have the Fizz ultimate knocking up, or well, not technically knocking up, but doing a lot of damage around the person if they're stuck in that Cataclysm. Then Fnatic can respawn with just an ultimate from Malphite to kind of cancel it or potentially stop that whole combo.
Well, we'll see whether it does work out. There is NIP on your screen. They had become a little bit of a fan favorite back in the spring when the Copenhagen Wolves, as their previous team, went 0-9. But since joining NIP, they've had some good fortunes, but having the changes, when Extinct stepped away and Mima come in, they were only 2-4 since that change. They were 7-3 when Extinct was in there. It was looking great. They were looking like one of the teams that may even make the top spot. But since that change, since Extinct stepped away, it seems to have put pressure back onto Bjergsen. That every little bit of fight, every little bit of team fights, every game that happens, it seems to be all about Bjergsen again.
And I wonder what the morale was like when he left. I mean, I know the reasons and I know they understood it, but just to bring him in for a couple of weeks and then to do that well, just to have him leave, it's kind of really got to shut you down a little bit. But a little bit of history between these two teams, because there's something really big for NIP. NIP's won 3 of the 7 games against them. Across, actually, not 3 of 7. Sorry, in 3 of the 7 games where they didn't get the first inhibitor, they only got it once and were able to win the 2 games, which the first inhibitor, when you get that, it's actually gone up from the spring split. It was 87% of the time you'll win, and now it's 94%. So them being able to turn around games when they lose a first inhibitor kind of shows how much they hold on and how much of a pain they really are for Fnatic.
Well, we will see whether that pain stays true. Ninjas in Pyjamas, they are the blue team. You can see Mima on your screen there on his Shen this time around. Fnatic, though, are the red team, and they are going to be looking for victories. At the moment, neither of these teams have had a fantastic start to the Super Week. They'll be looking to try and turn things around. It's the only game of the day for both these teams as well. They will be playing 2 matches tomorrow, so they kind of have a good view of how it's all going to work out for them. So as it stands, though, no crazy early game stuff coming out there. And not a great deal of deep wards either.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised at this. I mean, like you said, they're only playing 1 game today, so they have a lot of time to kind of prepare for it last night. And actually, between these 2 teams, NIP's only gotten first blood once, including the spring split. So 1 out of 7 games is not that good. It kind of shows that they don't really be very aggressive. In fact, kind of takes advantage of that.
Bjergsen's certainly going to be passive until he gets hit 6, so he's not going to be looking for anything. Maybe they're going to try and bully Pushu a little bit. Let's see whether they try and stack up the lanes against him. There is quite a heavy presence from NIP here. Cyanide's like, you know, I can see you coming. But it is going to be a blue invade, it seems. They are coming in. 30 seconds to go. They've put the ward down. They do see Thresh top. Will they actively react to this, though? Actively react? I guess reacting kind of is what I was saying. Is, you know, things these commentators say these days. Right, please.
But right now, with that little bit of aggression they pulled off, it forced Yellowstar to put a word down. So it forced them to kind of get some vision over that blue buff and kind of see exactly where Maluno will be starting, which, as you can tell, will be over on that red side.
It certainly is. Maluno ready and waiting. Piltover comes off. So red buff start, blue buff start for Fnatic. There is a ping on there, but, well, they're going to have the full tracking coverage of Cyanide. And actually, that's not an ordinary start for Lee Sin. Normally would start on red.
Well, okay, it depends on side, I think. For the blue, if he's on the blue side, you start red because he would want to gank top lane. But overall, on the red side, if you want to counter gank in that top lane, you would start blue to kind of stop Maluno from ganking. But he will have Mimir up there, who's actually just taking wolves right now. So I'm not sure if he'll just go straight to lane right after, which I'm imagining he would with that door and shield, but keeps up a little bit more in levels. But they do know where Maluno is, so this gives Cyanide the opportunity. Do you want to just keep jungling, get that level 4, which we saw Diamondprox doing yesterday, or maybe try to go in for a counter gank?
And that's interesting because it's 3.10. The whole point of the changes was to prevent that sort of thing. So it's still giving, despite the fact the wolves for Shen in that top lane, who will be going up there. So interesting that the patch changes. He is still only level 1. He hasn't hit level 2.
Right. Well, I mean, typically you wouldn't even get any CS right now anyways. So you get a little bit of experience, get a little CS. And the big thing is, you will hit level 2 before the jungler could come in for a 3-man dive. And with a Shen who could get taunt under a turret, that is huge. So he's able to pretty much secure his position in that top lane. He won't be pushed out anytime soon. Yeah,
we saw how dangerous it was diving onto Jax yesterday for Evil Geniuses. That backfired horribly as Pete managed to give himself up as first blood. Nevertheless, Bjergsen taking some damage in this mid lane to Peke. And we're not seeing any of those 4-minute turret stacks. Or no, we're not. Oh, maybe. I'm just getting my vision of Maluno, actually, who is sneaking in towards his bottom lane. You can see that Cyanide is already there, though, to react.
Well, I hate to burst your bubble, Demon, but the average first time taken between these two teams when they play against each other, 15 minutes.
Don't go there. We've just spoken to Joe, who was not in his most jovial of moods after the first 3 games. We are looking at the pace stepping up here in Super Week, as effectively the second half of Super Week as well, I might add, because things are really hotting up here. Cyanide taking a lot of damage in this bottom lane from Deficio and Freeze, a little bit of a Dragon Strike from Maluno as well, but overall, the first 4 minutes have passed by without too many events. Mimir, though, has himself level 3, so it seems that taking those wolves and getting back into lane to pick up all of this CS has worked out well for him.
Well, speaking of CS, I mean, he has 12 right now compared to Soaz with 4, and that was with Cyanide sticking around. We do see the taunt under turret, and gonna get actually 2 turret hits here. That's huge.
Double 2-hit onto Pushu. Pushu gets condemned onto Mimir. The Flay comes out. The forces the flash. Yellowstar gets 2 tower hits. Has to use the shield. And I'll tell you what, if anyone would have been remotely close there, they could have got themselves a double.
And that is huge for Mimir, because you look, he is still healing up right now. He has a lot more health than the combined top lane of Fnatic right now, and this gives him so much more free CS and control of the lane, and that was without his jungler's help. That is honestly exactly what NIP needs. Considering Mimir's been underperforming a little bit these past 2-3 weeks, coming up big like that is huge.
And it's always the danger of going up against the Shen. You just got to be careful you don't step too close. And the fact is, Vayne has to be pretty close to hit that tower, and that's exactly how Pushu got caught out there. Bjergsen in this mid lane. He's kept up pretty successfully with Peke in terms of farm. Peke just gone back, got himself a double Doran's Ring and that Crystalline Flask. Bjergsen obviously done exactly the same beforehand, so very even between the two. And as you mentioned, the fact that Mimir did get that advantage now, he's put up a huge gap over Soaz.
Yeah, he has. And we're going to see effects from this pretty much last for another 10-15 minutes, because you look at the AD carries, and Freeze has a huge lead right now over Pushu. They're actually going for this turret, and if they take it, they send Mimir bottom against Soaz with that CS lead, and with the extra gold from the turret, he's actually going to do fairly well, and then they'll be able to shut down a Vayne Thresh lane, which Caitlyn automatically counters by herself.
Yeah, they're trying to freeze the lane a little bit further up, and Freeze has that 75% win rate on Caitlyn, as you can see he's playing right now. Cyanide hasn't been able to come out and successfully help any ganks just yet, but the first turret of the game has gone down. It's just inside the 6-minute mark when the buff of the extra armor from 3.10 was on there, so despite the fact he did get buffed, it didn't stop the double gruesome twosome of Defrigio in the bottom lane.
And one thing I want to see NIP pull out right now, or even Fnatic, is the dragon. we've talked about over this past day and a half how much of an impact Dragon does have as you do the ultimate from Bjergsen coming in, but Peke does dodge it.
Yeah, actually, clever aggression there from Peke. He tried to throw out the charm just as Bjergsen was going to hit that siege minion. Tried to stop him getting that 40+ gold, but instead managed to pick it up and then try and turn around. Threw out Earth, didn't quite land on Peke though. So Peke walks away. Used a lot of mana to try and simply prevent that little bit of gold going his way. But look at this, top lane again, there's a big stack here, but this time around Maluno is here to help, and if Mima can land another one of those fantastic charms and maybe catch them under their, well, Shadow Dash charms, the exact same thing, effectively. Not quite. Turns him to hit him. You know what I mean, though,
I know
Jason.
exactly what you mean. I'm not giving you any funny faces right now.
No funny faces whatsoever there.
But we do have Sonic visiting the top lane. He's actually going to do exactly what NIP did to them. You saw Muno visit the bot lane of his AD carry support, push Soaz, so Sonic was there to kind of counter that, soak up the experience, and prevent the turret from going down a little bit earlier, but he actually leaves right away. So we're going to have Mimir and Muno able to hold this turret a little bit longer. They do even get the taunt on to push you.
There is the Shadow Dash. The Lantern was picked up. The Flay comes out, condemns Maluno back, who slides in at the same animation, and then just stands there looking a little confused because the condemn was still hitting him against the wall.
I don't think he abides by the laws of physics right there. He's like, you know what, forget it. Condemn, I'm still going to move from it in the end. But right now, Fnatic going for a push on this middle turret here, but we are seeing the teleport come in out of Bjergsen just to make sure to protect it here. And that means we won't see that teleport come into another lane, but blue. It's going to be contested here. They do have the timer. They do know it's currently up. And would they be able to pick up a kill here?
Oh, they tried to cast the charm on Bjergsen. They did have a ward in that bush, but Bjergsen pulling a ward of his own in the banana. Peke going to throw out the orb again. Times it perfectly on Bjergsen there. There's a little playful trickster and chunks down the damage on the minions, although he missed 2 CS. Disappointing.
Well, keep in mind, because we do have the AD carry support lane for Fnatic on that top side, they should be contesting blue, because they'll have 4 members there to be, potentially be able to stop it. But in the end, we actually do see Freeze and Efusio head middle against Peke. And I wonder if they're gonna stay there, if they're gonna commit there.
Well, Mima's desperately holding onto this tower at the moment. He gets his
he's not spotted.
triple stacked up. Bjergsen coming in. He's taking a lot of damage though, Mima. Will he be dead before he gets there? Oh, he manages to catch a turret on Pushu. Pushu gets taken now. Maluno came in. And it's Bjergsen that picks up first blood.
And that's something that makes NIP really do well as the game progresses, is getting that kill on Bjergsen, allowing him to roam around and get this snowball going a little bit. We are seeing a teleport come in for Soaz though, so he'll be able to prevent that. But Bjergsen, I mean, he can keep picking up these kills. He can pretty much one-shot anyone on the team, but maybe not Soaz.
What we didn't have vision of there was Peke. He took a lot of damage in that mid lane turret area, so he's had to teleport back, which has kept Freeze and Deficio putting damage on towards his mid turret now, so putting work down across the board. And NIP starting to take advantages across the map. It's only a 500 gold difference, but it is going to be now the Dragon that they go for.
Such a difference in their playstyle from yesterday to today, where they wouldn't even bother going for Dragon. They would just let the other team take it, and they're going to be able to pick this one up here, and they're currently down 10-5 overall within the series. And this is a huge pickup, but right now, Fnatic, they're coming in from the side. They want to stop this. If they do land a nice charm, they could potentially make something happen.
Well, the Dragon's been picked up already. They're going to go for it. They catch on towards Deficio, and well, the the Stranglethorns was down, and that's actually saved his life as he flashes away. Bjergsen was there as a presence to say, I can throw out this big woolly mammoth of Earth. Nobody really knows what Earth is. It's a manatee technically, but not convinced.
Now he's a woolly mammoth.
A woolly mammoth, yeah.
But I like what
With
Mimir...
tusks and everything.
Oh gosh, that'd be great. Right, please. But Mimir, he actually had his ultimate up. He stayed on it. He waited. He didn't commit it to Deficio because he knew he could escape. Great communication, and that means he'll be able to split push a little bit more, and they could force a team fight, relatively soon, considering Peke used his ultimate right there.
Certainly did, and that does give a pretty big advantage for Ninjas in Pyjamas. They have that 1,500 gold lead. They took down that bottom turret. That was the first turret of the game. Of course, the top one did go down, but now they're going to start applying pressure to this middle. You can see Peke is back here, but Freeze and Deficio, and Freeze went for the BF sword as well, as opposed to the boots and the Vampiric Scepter that Pushu pushed towards. And we'll see how that plays out between them. We've talked about many times that Caitlyn does fall off mid-game, and obviously Pushu will become an incredible machine on Vayne, or if he has the hashtag Vayne mechanics to be using it.
Freeze is trying to skip that mid-game power drop, or power, whatever you want to call it, that he loses, because he's going straight for an item. He's skipping the boots. He wants to force that item in relatively early, and with that Dragon, with the turret they took, I mean, it's a very high possibility that they'll have it completed before the 15-minute mark. And you look in the top lane right now between Mimir and Soaz, where Mimir, because of those that wolf camp he did take bottom early on, or sorry, top side of the jungle, he had a huge lead over Soaz, but Soaz caught up right now.
And of course, Bjergsen with that teleport not available at the moment. We'll see whether actually him and Mima do work as a combo once they start diving in towards these fights, because of course the mobility that NIP have from that should be interesting. They've technically got 3 people that can all jump over walls.
And the last time Mima played Shen, we saw that whole combo of Bjergsen on Zed, and it was pretty much 2v5 every time. Like, it would just be Bjergsen going off by himself. Right now, we do see Soaz getting taunted, but that's a tanky Malphite. You're not really going to do too much to him.
They just patted his back and said, "No, be on your way, Soaz, please. Leave me alone to farm." And he's like, "Nope, no. Got my Sunfire Cape on the way. I'm not going to be moved out of the lane this easily." Bjergsen, he keeps getting spotted by that pesky ward in the tri-bush, and I think he must be a little infuriated with it right now. He keeps trying to catch Pushu out of position, but he's not falling for it.
He's keeping that pressure, though, on that lane, and with him there, it allows their team to 4-man or 3-man push that middle lane right now if they want to go for it. And like I was saying before, I mean, that whole duo combo of Bjergsen and Mima with that Shen, they did so much work when Bjergsen was on Zed. I wonder if they're going to make that same thing happen this time.
So let's have a look across the board at the creep scores, or the CS count, whichever you'd like to call it. It is the numbers next to the small profiles. 115 CS for Caitlyn, 94 for Pushu. You can see is farming out on the turret right now, while it is Freeze that keeps on shoving this mid lane, trying desperately to get on towards the outer middle turret. And on the mid laners, 106 to 106, bang even between the two, but you can see the goal difference because of that turret and dragon is heavily in favor of Bjergsen, as well as that kill he picked up.
Yeah, and I really want to give a little bit of shout out to Pusher right there, because he was down about the same amount of CS earlier on today, or not earlier on when he was top lane against Mima. The thing is, he hasn't let Freeze to keep that gap going. That's not even English right there. He hasn't allowed Freeze to extend the gap between them and CS.
I felt like you were missing a word as
yeah,
you went along. It was like the microphone was cutting out and you were like...
No, that was just me.
No, it was just you. Just your mind not working. Right now, though, Soaz, he's done a very good job at catching up in the CS. He's actually worked his way in there. If you remember rightly, Mima had such a great start to it. Did manage to get around about 20-30 CS over Soaz, but Soaz instead has managed to sit back, farm, get himself back into this game.
So what's really cool between their items is the fact that Soaz, he's going for that early tankiness of the Sunfire Cape, but you look over at Mima with the Kindle Gem, he gets the extra cooldown reduction, so it kind of shows that Soaz wants that immediate tankiness, but Mima wants the ability to split push and use his ultimate a lot more. So it kind of shows what their paths are right now.
So big damage spike for Bjergsen. He's got that Lich Bane complete. He's going to be looking to see if he can land some kill. He's going to have to get in close and personal though, to get that spike of damage from the Lich Bane. The big purple glow that he has over him right now, making him a little bit of a radiant fish, as it were. And he's looking for Thresh right now. He's not going to land any hooks there, that's for sure. So instead, he's just going to go back to lane. Yellow Star, thinking maybe he's forgetting that he's not an AD carry right now and going pretty deep on the lane.
Well, yeah. Well, we do see right now him missing a little bit of CS, which is a little bit tough to do on Thresh. But right now, we have Dragon Cup in about a minute. And this is the big key point for NIP. Can they take this one flawlessly? Like, they've already got the first one. Getting a second one will just keep their gold income increasing throughout this game. It'll give them their items a little bit sooner.
Well, 40 seconds on the Dragon would most likely be where the next point of aggression. Fnatic know that he's in there. Actually still going to throw out Irvin. He's going to catch on Pushu, but he manages to condemn him and hook him and exhaust him. And just like that, Playful Trickster's away. Soaz teleports in and Stopper Force doesn't catch on towards him. But doesn't matter. Cyanide's there. Bjergsen getting punted around left, right, and center. Oh, he's gone through. Nearly gets on Pushu. He gets him. How the hell did he pull the kill out? Playful Trickster's over the trees, and would you believe it, he manages to turn it to a 1-for-1.
Oh, poor Pusher. All he had to do was just walk away and not stay there, but at least he did pick up a kill himself. Dragon will be up in 10 seconds, and Mima, he kind of...
Oh, he's coming to smite it!
That's not good, though. His smite's now down for Dragon, and Fnatic could take advantage of this.
Well, we'll see whether they do. They're going to have to rush that Dragon, and honestly, I'm not too sure they're in the position. Remember, they're just using Unstoppable Force. You can see Cyanide, he's already used the kick. Pushu's not here. No AD carry, and there's not a great deal it can do. NIP can just bully them away from this.
They shouldn't do this. This might be a big misplay on their part if this does get stolen away by Cyanide, who's Lee said he's so mobile, he's hard to keep out of that pit.
We'll see whether he does manage to get in there. Bjergsen with teleport is coming in behind them. He's coming in just on top of Yellowstar, tries to flame away, and actually does a good job of it, but that's going to be collateral
damage.
Collateral damage, maybe.
What?
Graves
No.
is going to suddenly make an appearance. Who knows? He's just going to start throwing
Trevor,
off
please.
shots. Trevor, please. Cataclysm is the word I was looking for. Now they're going to go for Dragon, and they will pick this one up because Fnatic are not going to react, although Cyanide is still lingering.
He wants to make something happen here, but Bjergsen's ultimate is available. And honestly, that was a really smart play if you look at it. The NIP, they baited Fnatic in. They kept him there to allow Bjergsen just to teleport behind and make that play happen, able to pick up a kill on Yellowstar. And Xpeke, he's not doing that much damage to Bjergsen right now.
Hop, skip, and jump over the charm there from Bjergsen. They knew exactly how he could close the gap, but as said, once he gets that Lich Bane, he's going to be looking aggressive. And sure enough, 3-1-0 right now. He's now to step up the pace, Bjergsen. We talked about the pressure on his shoulders, those young shoulders as well. Only turned 17 in the spring split. Here in the summer split, he's effectively a veteran of the LCS. Now has clocked up just as many hours playing as most teams in the game so far, in the European League at least. And they've actually built themselves close to a 4,000 gold lead now in Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Yeah, they have, and that's all due to Bjergsen, just like you're saying. But there is one downside to him having all the kills of his team, is that if he does get caught, like we saw earlier in his duel with Pushu and Yellowstar, he got condemned into the wall and then hooked by Yellowstar. And if they can lock him down like that, follow up with maybe a Malphite ultimate or a charm, he's going to die, and then there goes a lot of their damage. But Freeze, he actually did rush a Bloodthirster because he doesn't want to get caught. He realizes he actually will get dove on by Soaz, wants to be able to sustain a little bit more. Didn't go for the eye edge right away, so he'll be able to follow it up with a Last Whisper.
Meanwhile, the Sunfire Cape was completed by Soaz. Interesting that Mima went for the Spirit Visage first rather than the Sunfire Cape.
Yeah, he just wanted to make sure his ultimate was up as soon as possible, just so he can keep split pushing and allow his team to force these fights that they want to make happen. And Soaz just wanted that immediate tankiness, which he did get. And right now, it hasn't been able to help them out too much because they only have one kill on the board, but we're going to see it progress in a couple of minutes.
We saw how quick. Oh, that's going to be Earth getting thrown out. He goes on towards Yellowstar. Is he going to get the Lich Bane proc? No, he's going to get pulled into the tower. He's not going to get the kill. This time they controlled him right, and Pushu picks up the kill.
And that is that hook I was just mentioning. If they do get some sort of CC on him, they're going to lock him down, pick up the kill, and Pushu now, who died a little bit earlier on, down about 34 CS. He does have those 2 kills under his belt, and he's not that far behind. 700 gold to Freeze.
So every time he's tried it, and that actually will have given a good portion of gold to Pushu as well, because he'd got that couple of kills, started the kill streak going as well. So as though he's happy to sit and farm in this top lane now. Still even CS between these two, despite the fact they're not really going to do a great deal up against each other. Not too sure who would win out in the duel right now, but Deficio is heading up towards that top lane to help out a little bit for Mima.
What was that saying you always use? 2 greased up?
2 fat ladies in Grimsby. I don't know. There's a number of sayings you could use for it, but the fact is,
grease out of nowhere.
They're not really going to do a lot about it. They're just rubbing up against each other.
and if in the end, actually, Soaz should be able to win that just with the damage off of Sunfire Cape taking away, not to mention the attack speed slow. But right now, with Deficio head up towards his top lane, you see Bjergsen hit up there as well. They want to make their next play at this turret. They already have all the outer turrets down except this one, and Soaz, he's got to be careful.
He has got to be careful because Bjergsen's sneaking in towards that top bush. Not too sure whether he got spotted. Deficio stepped out. They don't really care whether they're spotted right now. They just want the tower down. But Fnatic are responding in kind. They've got 3 members coming up towards here. Yellowstar's just off at the side. Maluno comes in to bolster the numbers for Ninjas in Pyjamas. It's a 4-on-3. They're going to push in here. We could see an interesting Shadow Dash to see whether anyone goes in towards it. He went for Cyanide, didn't land it. Stranglethorns gets thrown out. Unstoppable Force actually pulled Earth onto Yellowstar. Not really what they're asking. Great Cataclysm catching on. Soaz pulls out Unstoppable Force. That's going to be Fizz going down. Now they're going to turn this one around. Mima's trying to make a mad dash for it, but it's not going to happen. Peke comes in. The Orb gets thrown out. Not the damage, but Cyanide pulls out the Lee Syndrome. Catches him with a flying kick to the jaw.
And that was 3-on-4. You didn't have Freeze there, but you had Pushu pushing bomb, getting a lot of farm, getting a turret. You had Peke Middle who ended up coming in from the side, able to lock them down and killing Bjergsen again, killing Mimir and Blue. Their tankiest targets with just pretty much Xpeke there is a really good sign for them. I mean, the damage Pushu's going to put out to Mimir and Blue is going to be ridiculous, and doing that without him is a very good sign for Fnatic.
This has worked out very well for Pushu as well, because he's managed to get all of that free farm, like you say, in the bottom, and just put a lot of presence on their freezers, so saying, thank you very much, you've just pushed an entire giant wave of minions to me, so I'll just get some more free farm there. It's interesting when you do push a tower like that. If you don't have the AD carry with you, What is your goal? The goal is to get the kills, and honestly, that backfired pretty horrendously.
Yeah, it really did. But the problem is that Freeze, he can't really go into that lane to stop push you because he will be outdueled by Vayne. Just with the Blade of the Rune King, the proc of that, if you get condemned to wall, you're automatically dead. Doesn't matter what items he has at this point. But he does finish up his last Whisper, mostly. So even with that fight that just happened in the top lane, he got even stronger, and we have almost a Sunfire Cape coming in from Mimers. So NIP, even losing 3 people, they came back stronger than ever.
So we do see Bjergsen heading back to base. What's he going to pick up? He has got teleport available again, so we'll see whether he pulls out any maneuvers. Instead, he's going to go back, sells an item, waits a little bit for the gold.
Yeah, he's waiting for a large rod.
Waiting for a large rod. Boom, there it is. Got himself a large rod. So a little bit of ability power on there. 46 seconds for the Dragon to spawn. Most likely will be the next target, which is why we're seeing 2 members of Fnatic backing off here just to get their timing right. Nope, they cancel it. And Yellowstar's going to go in with that Oracle and start to sweep out the wards.
And right now, with that Oracle, it makes it so Bjergsen can't use that teleport to get in behind the team like we saw earlier on at that Dragon fight. But they're just leaving him by himself. They're going to let him split push. They're going to let him play his assassin and force Fnatic to 1v1 him. And right now, I mean, with those stray deaths coming in, I think that Xpeke should be able to do it himself, maybe even push you if he lands a condemn.
Well, both these teams are going to be maneuvering. We see the red buff being picked up by Freeze. The bottom lane is actually getting pushed out by Pushu. And of course, the top lane. Soaz has teleport, Mima has Stand United. Interested to see who chooses to interrupt who, and whether any of them actually get down in time to make it a proper 4-on-5, or whether it ends up as a straight 4-on-4, and then they just have to go at it in the top lane. Still don't know who would win out, really. Some fight games not been completed by Mima, whereas Soaz is actually pretty damn tanky right now against Mima. So Mima wouldn't be able to do a great deal to Soaz right now in a fight.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially with the Grand Slam put in right after that. We do see Yostar kind of getting caught right there, but it's Maluna the one that gets caught.
Yeah, he got hooked in. Wasn't really the fish he was looking for. Instead, he does back straight out of that one. Diffuser is like, I know there's a ward there, guys. I just want to get it. My oracle's run out.
Poor him. But right now, Dragon is up, and this is what we saw last 2 good at NIP. And I've been saying throughout yesterday and today and in this game that it's a big point of contention that both these teams have to fight for it. And it's just about who can get the better position, who can punish. But wow, Bjergsen getting taken low.
Getting catch on there. There's going to be Earth popping up. Not quite the damage on Peke, and he escapes with a slither of his life. Meanwhile, Ninjas and Pyjamas are going to try and move for position. Cyanide is just around the tri-burst. Defugio gets hooked in again, but there's going to be a nice catch on towards Pushu. Try and jump in. Cataclysm tries to tumble out of it. Dragon Strike will finish that one off. Now Yellowstar, he's the focus of target, but the exhaust forced away. Bjergsen, now Cyanide, he's coming around the backside. Don't think he's going to be able to create anything. They see him with the ward, but instead they're focusing on the Dragon, and it's dangerous to leave Cyanide alone. Yes, and that's why they realized, no, just take the big wave at the bottom. We'll fight this fight again in a moment.
They're going to lose their middle turret, though, for that. They have no one really coming back except Diffuser will be making his way in. I don't think NRP realizes how lucky they were in that fight because Soaz just teleported back to base to buy up an item, to heal up, and then to teleport into that fight. But right now, Fnatic, they're not going to be stopped here, but we might see a big fight break out with Maluna coming in from the side.
They're coming from every angle. Peke is going to get caught out of position here. He's going to have to use his Spirit Rush, but he hasn't got it available. So instead, he could get locked up. We're going to see the Charm land on. Mima's going to have Shadow Dash back in a moment. So they didn't get the middle turret, and now it looks like they're going to lose a member of their team. There's going to be playful trickster from Bjergsen, still not able to close the gap. Poor Peke is going to try and turn it around. Gets the charm on Maluna. Spirit Rush was used to get him out of this fight eventually as the cooldown came up. But look at this. Fnatic setting a trap. Unstoppable Force was available for Soaz, and they choose to back away wisely.
And in the end, they didn't lose anyone. They kept their turret alive, and they pushed Fnatic out of the side of their jungle. So great job by them. And they also are going to be able to keep their blue buff up for Bjergsen, he's going to need that. He's building towards a DFG, which is going to help quite a bit with that cooldown reduction, the extra burst damage he can do. But Fnatic, with that Oracle still in hand on Yellowstar, looks like they want to go for Dragon themselves.
They will go for Dragon themselves. This time, NIP not in any way, shape, or form to try and counteract this one. And they will have to let it go. So Fnatic will be finding their first Dragon of the game. The Earth Red Lobster being tossed out to... I've never really realized, I mean, lobsters, they don't really attract manatees that I know of, but maybe this time with that little graphic change. You know, normally I didn't know sharks went for lobsters either, but we'll give Riot graphics department a little bit of creative freedom on that one.
I was actually curious if they consulted National Geographic on that one, to kind of get an idea if it would work or not. But still, right now, NIP game very close between these two teams. A 300-400 gold difference between them. 5-5 in kills. 2 turrets to 1 for, two Dragons to 1 for NIP, and 2-2 in turrets. And this game is getting really scary. I mean, it's been kind of slow, not as slow as the others, but it's one of those games where it's going to be a ticking time bomb. At some point of this game, it's just going to explode, and both teams have to be ready for this, and both teams have to realize, do we want to be the ones causing that explosion, or are we going to let the other team do it?
They are indeed just waiting for that snowball event, the avalanche to begin, and Deficio is going to have to try and hold out this mid lane, and does it well with his plant kind. As he throws out everything, gets his little bit of CS, and actually looking at the CS, you know, both supports have got themselves a fair amount, you know, 30 CS for Deficio, 22 for Yellowstar. These...
Oh, Bjergsen, this is not a good position to be in.
This is not a good position, and the fish has been caught, hook, line, and sinker. But will he get away with it? Stan United comes out. They're going to try and force it in. Peke, oh no, that's going to be Earth turning it back around. Goes in there, Playful Tricksters away. Gets Peke down. There's the box from Yellowstar, but Cyanide comes back in around the side. Puts a kick to the face. Gets him in the jawline. Deficio now, he's caught out. The silver bolts from Pushu. Get himself a second kill.
Oh, and those top laners, poor them. They interrupted each other on the teleport and the Shen ultimate, so they didn't get to show up, but Marmer did get his shield onto Bjergsen, able to allow him to stay alive a little bit longer, but in the end, a 1 for 3 for Fnatic. That's a fantastic job by them, fantastic job by Sana to get there quick enough and to make sure to pick up that kill on Bjergsen. And Bjergsen, he needs to maybe go with a pink ward or two, because he's been down at that bottom lane multiple times, and that's the second time in a row where he's died going down there.
And you talked about it, it's dangerous getting all the kills on one player. 6 kills for NIP, 5 of them are on Bjergsen, but he's died 4 times. So every time he does go in, gets the kill, generally they die, and then a couple more members of NIP die afterwards.
Luckily for him, though, because the thing is, with all this roaming he's doing, he's not CSing. But luckily, he is getting those kills, so he's keeping up in terms of gold with Xpeke right now. But if it starts happening where he doesn't pick up a lot of CS soon, if he doesn't pick up another kill or two, Xpeke is going to out-damage him. And Xpeke will be able to do a lot more damage in the team fight to the entirety of the NIP lineup.
So, as it stands, well, he's got Zhonya's Hourglass now, so maybe it's going to work out well for him next time around.
Didn't go for DFG.
Didn't go for a DFG, no. He decided to switch it up, which instead Peke gets himself that blue buff we'll be looking towards. Cyanide, though, he's been sneaking around, picking up these kills. He's actually been the one that's the cleanup crew on Bjergsen. 3-0-3 now, got the Iron Lock at the Solari completed, along with that Sightstone, of course, so he can do those ninja moves that Lee Sin tends to do, or technically karate move. Actually, he's a Thai boxer, my Thai boxer, isn't he?
He has a skin of that? I don't know if that's exactly what he is.
It's the stance he uses in Muay Thai.
I hate watching a good player play these things. I realize the things I can never do.
Yeah.
Like the ward jumping, the getting behind him, kicking him back into team, pulling an insect, can never do that. And it makes me sad inside. But still 3-0-3, that's a great score by him. He already has Soas, who's very tanky with that 206 CS. He's going to be able to get very tanky with that Giant Spell coming in. And right now, Freeze, I mean, he has a Last Whisper, he has a Bloodthirster, but he does nowhere near the same amount of damage as Pushu does.
Well, Ninjas in Pyjamas are gathering in the mid lane once again. It's looking at Pushu, who is going to try and sneak around onto Mima. Gets spotted out by that ward. Mima's like, nope, not having any of that, but it does mean that the top lane is a little exposed. We'll see whether Fnatic gather anywhere. They are still trying to kill on that one. Yes, I didn't quite get the last hit. It timed out before he meant to take it, so a little sad sign from Jason. Yeah. But nevertheless, it is Ninjas in Pyjamas still with 4 members in this middle. They've been here a long time, you know, NIP. This is kind of the situation they've been in a few times. It's like, well, we've kind of taken down a lot of the outer turrets. We could try and do with getting that top one, but Mima's desperately trying to split push, and he's coming up against a very rock-solid object. It's not working out for him. The rest of NIP are kind of like, well, what are we going to do? Bjergsen, go find another pick.
And I'm not sure if you're going to do that much longer. I mean, right now, Mima, he won't outsplit push a Soaz. It will just not happen because he has Sunfire Cape. But he did just pick one up, so it helps alleviate that pressure a little bit. But because he's there, it allows Soaz to roam around and you know, save his teleport a little bit longer if he wants to. But both of them are just going to sit there. And right now, I mean, Push or Freeze, he's going to get that Found Dancer, I believe, very soon, which is going to help him do a lot more damage. But the thing is, with Soaz in his face, with that ground slam happening onto him, his damage is going to be cut really low. I was going to say in half, but I think it's even lower than that.
It's going to be lower than half. Okay. So we're into the below 49% radius. Nice to see. We're not getting the exact figures just yet, though. Blue buff will be picked up by Bjergsen, so we'll see what he can do with this. Would he go try and looking for trouble on Soaz in his top lane? It looks like he may well try and sneak in towards the top bushes. No wards up there, so Bjergsen may actually be able to do this one. Instead, it looks like Mima's like, no, I can actually bait him down here a little bit closer, but Soaz is, no, just going to stay here. Just chill in the bush.
And one thing you can see between both these teams is the pressure they're under. Both of them went 0-2 yesterday. And they need a win right now. I mean, you said this is the only game they're going to play today. Picking up that one win will give them a little bit of momentum for tomorrow. But Soaz, he's going to get caught here.
He's going to get caught out. The Earthscurf fish is going to get thrown towards him. But look at that. Not a great deal of damage done. Lich Bane, everything thrown towards it. Unstoppable Force, and just walks away like a boss.
So that's 2 members committed over towards that top side. And Fnatic right now, they can form and push middle. And they are going to lose a turret for that. And NIP, are they going to continue pushing this top lane? They might be able to, because Soaz isn't healthy.
Well, they do get a 3rd turret, and that's going to be a dragon trade. Yes, it will be. Just pops up a couple of seconds before the timer. And it does seem that the inner turret is actually going to get beaten down. The Lich Bane will do a lot of work here from Bjergsen. This is not a good trade for Fnatic. A dragon for an inner turret, or technically 2 turrets, that's a horrendous trade.
They might be able to get that middle turret, though, because look where NIP went. They went down towards that bottom. You see Peke trying to go towards that top side to stop that Bjergsen push, and they're going to be able to get a turret out of this at least.
Well, they may get one. Muluno is not going to be able to stop them on this one. Bjergsen stuck around a little bit too long. Peke tries to use that Spirit Rush, catches on towards him. But the Shadow Dash turns around. He catches the Earth on towards him. Peke is going to get taken low and dropped. And now Soaz is in trouble. Unstoppable Force isn't available this time around. He has got Flash, though, but you can see the damage. Playful Tricks to back on towards him. He wants to flash across, but gets caught with a Shadow Dash from Mima and taken down. A 2-for-0 exchange in the top. But the mid lane, Muluno got taken down as well.
And Bjergsen dodged the DFG damage with this Playful Trickster, but this is exactly what we saw NIP do last week. Bjergsen's on a different champion, but he's just off pushing by himself. Mimir ults in, saves him, and they end up picking up kills. Now they're pushing that middle lane. In the meantime, the rest of NIP, well, sorry, they're pushing the top, but NIP's pushing middle as well.
Well, that's easy to see. Pushu and Yellowstar coming around. They hook on towards Mimir, but is that the target they want? They've lost another inner turret.
Oh,
he manages to just
so lucky.
Get away from that one.
He got
no
condemned
problem.
away. He was going to get hit into that wall, but he taunted right across and condemned awake perfectly. Ends up staying alive. That definitely would have been a dead him. And now, NIP, who looked to have lost control of the game, gain it back, and they're actually counter-jungling Fnatic a little bit, taking away their red buff.
Well, they've just taken away a bunch of turrets as well. 2 inner turrets going down in a matter of seconds. We said it was going to start happening quickly, and sure enough, despite the fact they're 9-8 down in kills, they are 5-3 up in those turrets, and they have a 1,000 gold advantage still. Very, very tight between these 2 teams. I do not rule either of them out just yet, because this could turn around on the flip of a switch or the tilt of a hat. Not really a phrase. Flip of a switch or a switch. Roll of the dice. We could go roll of the dice. Yeah.
Nice.
Number of them.
And right now, Bjergsen, he got a Void Staff. And that is going to give him the ability to, well, if he wasn't already strong enough to pretty much 1v1 Peke, but Peke is trying to respawn by building a Zonius for himself, which he desperately needs. Like, that is an item he has to have to dodge the damage out of that Earth coming out of that Fizz. And Peke, they got to get a lot of farm channeled into him. He's already at 308 CS, but we see the engage on Bjergsen.
Caught with the Unstoppable Force, backed up straight by the charm. Oh, the Zonia's Hourglass just at the right time. He's going to play for Trickster straight away. Is it going to be enough? He pops out. Yes, he's still got away. Finally goes down. It's Mima, though, that picks up the kill on towards Cyanide. Now they're going to try and lock up another. Pushu with that Vayne ultimate running. Can he catch down Muluno? No, he can't. They may be able to get themselves a turret here. The pressure coming out from Fnatic. Can they force it on them?
And you saw right there why the Zonius is so good on a Fizz. It gives you that little bit of time to get the reset on your cooldowns, to get your Playful Trickster back up to escape right there. Fantastic job. He's able to pick up one, and he almost escaped somehow. I don't know how he almost escaped that, but he almost did.
Well, that's just the annoyance of Fizz. But look at this. Pushu's going to get himself a big, giant creep wave. But we talked about how close they were in CS earlier on. They're not that close anymore. Freeze, somewhere, somehow, has built himself up a 60-70 CS advantage. He gets hooked in there, but Yellowstar's like, we gotta stop them.
Peck is coming.
Baron is dangerous with a 3-man right now. The charm lands on towards Mima. Not really the target they wanted. He's very tanky, gets the Shadow Dash on towards Peke. He gets just drilled down. It's Deficio that actually picked up the kill. They're gonna go back to Baron. Cyanide is coming in, though, so they have to be careful of the steal, but they're gonna try and do what they can on this Baron. At the moment, it's still got 9,500 hit points, so there's Bjergsen comes in, flashes home guard boots on towards him. Soaz has to Unstoppable Force away, but Freeze. Dot manages to pick up the kill, and that is going to be surely all she wrote for Fnatic. They're going to have to back off from this one.
Here it comes.
He goes in, throws out the lobster, Pushu, Cataclysm. That's actually going to put Bjergsen out of the way, unfortunately for him. Couldn't get close enough. The Shadow Dash not going to close the gap. Doesn't matter. Bjergsen comes across, slices Yellowstar in half.
Great job by NIP to realize their cooldowns yet again. This is the second time they've used that teleport to their advantage, where they bait in a fight against Fnatic, had Peke push in a little bit too far, gets taunted, then just blown up by Bjergsen. And right now, Cyanide, he's still up. He is here for the potential of the steal. There is no pink ward or Oracle for NIP. There is a ward in the pit for Fnatic. we could see a steal, and Cyanide so amazing at it.
Seeing what he can do. He's waiting in the wings. A ward goes down. Is he going to get across in time? That's the question. No, because Bjergsen's going to turn aggressive on him instead. And look at the damage coming out towards him. He tries to ulti kick away. Doesn't matter. Freeze lands the last shot. That is going to be Baron for Ninjas and Pyjamas.
Great job at NIP to just wait on that Baron, to not get it a little bit lower, because Lee Sin has an execute percent damage when a target is really low. He had a high potential stealing it away, and Freeze, he's just sitting there in the pit attacking away onto him, able to pick up that kill. And right now, NIP, from coming to the brink of a loss, they've been able to turn this game around in a matter of 5 minutes.
And ladies and gentlemen, if they do pick up this, it's going to turn it into a 6-way tie, I believe, which is pretty scary. Is it 5-way or 6-way? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-way. 5-way tie.
Still, that is scary. I mean, considering how little games we have left for each of these teams, we would have to play these games out, obviously before the playoffs happen, to figure out who's going.
Yeah, and it actually goes into like a playoff situation, and like a bunch of head-to-heads, finding out who would be up against each other. It's not a straight round robin, because frankly, we'd be here until Tuesday.
Yeah, it's a really... Well, we'll explain it if we get to that, honestly, because it's a really confusing thing to explain. But right now, Fnatic able to take away the blue buff from Bjergsen, and that's actually pretty good because it limits his cooldown reduction, which is really the key thing that he needs right now. But he does have another Needlessly Large Rod. He is working, I would assume now, towards a DFG, and that puts his damage just through the roof. Peke's still working towards his Zhonya's Death Cap. Zhonya's Hourglass.
Sounds like a great item.
It does. It's actually, there is one in Howling. No, Dominion. No, Twisted Tree Line. There we go. It's called Wooglets.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's both in one. But anyways, he's working towards the Zhonya's Hourglass. Does have it done, and that is a huge power-up for Fnatic.
Well, Bjergsen, speaking of power-ups, is continuing to do the damage and picking up the kills, 7, 5, and 4. Still a lot of the pressure on him, but you can also see that Freeze did get, danger, NIP. But the rest of his team come around to react, and they know that there's going to be that turret. But with the Baron on, Ace in the hole fired off, catches on towards Cyanide's backside, try and protect out who it was aimed at. But that bottom turret, I'm not sure they can defend this one.
I need to be very careful. We do have Soaz, though, coming in, so he could have a 5-1-4 fight. However, Mimer has his ultimate available. They do just give it up because it is a Baroned up NIP, and they're just going to take as many objectives as they possibly can. However, there's nothing left for them to take for free. They're going to have to go for an inhibitor turret here if they want to take any extra gold.
Well, they're clearing out the jungle. The blue buff actually just spawned, and sure enough, they're going to go straight for it and steal that one away. Looks like it's going to be Bjergsen they're going to gift it across to, as he'll slide across and pick that one up. Looks like the rest of the team happy to actually just wait this one out, take it slow. They had built up a rather nice advantage. It's just shy of 8,000 gold right now. They've got the advantage built up. Considering this was a 1k gold difference game for such a long period of time, they definitely managed to snowball away into this one quite nicely.
Yes, they have, and that's all due to just picking up a couple of kills or getting some really good position against the other team, and they're still stealing away as much jungle as possible. They're making it so Fnatic can't push out past their base. And this is the do or die time. Who has the better dive team? Looking over at NIP, if they do land the Cataclysm onto a couple of targets and the taunt across that, they're going to demolish them, pair that in with the String of Thorns. But Fnatic have a good kind of counter engage with the Thresh's box and with the Malphite ultimate.
And Soaz is going to be looking to try and land that ultimate. Not too sure where to start with. It looks like the Ace in the hole coming in. Only corn towards Soaz, blocked it off nicely. It's prevented it going in there. Bjergsen keeps trying to bait out that charm from Peke, knowing once it's down, the cooldown is off. They can maybe signal a time to start. They realize that they have no chance of just going in wave after wave. They're going to have to try and get some split push going here. Looks like it's going to be Bjergsen that heads off to take down the middle wave.
Yeah, the thing is, the only people that he can hit with his ultimate is now Soaz, Cyanide, and Yellow Star. Because of the QSS that currently Pushu has, he's going to be able to drop it off of him, and the Zhonya's Hourglass that Xpeke has, he's going to be able to mitigate the damage, and that makes it very tricky for NIP to get a solid engage.
As it is both top and middle wave are now cleared. So let's see whether they do manage to get themselves in there. We do see Peke is on his own trying to defend. It's actually, they're going to get a Shadow Dash onto Soaz. Oh, look at the damage. Freeze actually putting a good spike onto Soaz there. That's shredded off 1,000 hit points in just a couple of shots. So Soaz realizing he's not unstoppable just yet. Meanwhile, that mid turret continues to get hammered on. Bjergsen with that Lich Bane will do a chunk of damage. And every time the wave gets cleared, he just pokes in there, gets another single shot on towards that turret. And that's all he's going to require. Just keep chipping it down. Baron buff has now worn off, though, for Ninjas and Pyjamas, which does signal time to back off.
Yeah, that was a great job of them. Just decide to go for the split push, and they have a decent amount of disengage with Deficio if he does land that Stranglethorn across the team. But right now, going to back away with their gold to go back and spend 2,000 gold on Freeze. He's getting really close to an Infinity Edge if he wants to go for that as his main item. But with that Oracle picked up on Deficio with the Boots mobility, it looks like they want to go for one more Baron before they go for the end.
It's always good to see a Fizz jumping around and enjoying it. I'm absolutely useless on Fizz. It's one of those champions I never did get my head around, but it's great to see them playing well. Just I never timed the playful tricks at the right time. So you see the charm come out, so I'm gonna... Oh, no, it called me.
See, the one thing about Fizz for me is I see people do amazing damage on him. Yeah. And do so well. I can't do that.
I can't do that.
Same with Poppy.
I can't.
Just same with Poppy. Oh, I hate Poppy.
Poppy, yeah. I've played games with N-rated, and he's just like, this champion's broken. It's broken.
Yeah, and then when we play it,
nobody plays it still.
There is actually one person at NA. He's no longer in LCS. Actually, wasn't.
Well, he used to be double lifted, to be fair.
Well, it was also Zekin over there. He plays a lot of Poppy. He has an account dedicated to only her, and I believe it's Diamond 1 right now. So, kind of shows she is useful, but maybe not necessarily in these team compositions or with the current items that are
Couldn't
out.
be countered. That's the main issue. And
only by Olaf and Teemo.
Not really a lane for her at the moment, though, as it stands. Certainly in the team composition, and it seems that Bjergsen is going to continue stealing away everything in Fnatic's jungle. Deficio, though, with that ward, may get the check there with Damashi. Standard didn't want to walk into that one. And look, while this is all happening, Mimer's been off split pushing. We talked about how Soaz couldn't really stop him, but he's actually building up towards a Trinity Force now. So maybe, just maybe, he's going to get to the point where the way he continues, he will surpass Soaz, and he will become a serious, serious problem. He had to just push those lanes down on his own.
He's got a little bit of a daring in him. Because Darren loves to go that Triforce as a damage item, but we do see Fnatic, they're trying to get some vision. They're trying to get some control, and NIP, they realize that. They back off, they let them take it, then they take that vision back yet again, and it allows Mimer to keep pushing. And with him not in vision, Fnatic has to give up their jungle right now. They have to back away. They don't know where he's going to come in from, and you even see Soaz, he's actually going to visit that top or that bottom lane to kind of defend this push.
Yeah, interesting to see whether they actually go up against each other. Nope, still not going to have any of it. Comes in, ground slams the minions, puts that Riot Fist down and walks away. No problem. Baron is up. Dragon will be up in around about 33 seconds. Cyanide.
They don't realize it's warded, I think, back at Baron.
Cyanide thinking of going in there. Yeah, they don't realize there's a ward at the back. I don't think Deficio quite caught it out there, which is why Fnatic are still lingering. Grasping Root's not going to catch onto Yellow Star. Oracle throws out the death sentence, not going to find its victim. Cyanide may actually walk straight in, though. Lands the Q, catches on towards Bjergsen, will not follow that one through, that's for sure. While this is all happening, Mimer's still in that bottom lane, still getting himself more sweet, sweet gold.
And this is being executed very well by NIP. They're playing it really safe. They're doing it by the book. And they pull the rest of Fnatic towards them, let Mimer split push. When he pulls someone away, they go back to clearing out the wards, go back to getting that control around Baron. And the thing is, they're keeping that top wave push. They're keeping the bottom wave push, so someone always has to visit. And Fnatic, they're going to be the ones to have to make the move. I mean, they obviously can't let Baron go, but it's going to be really hard for them to find a fight that they're going to have an advantage from.
What concerns me coming up to the World Finals is we've seen this all too often for every team in Europe. This little Baron dance, this little tactical prowess play that they do with each other. Sometimes it works out, often it backfires. I don't see this in Korea. You don't tend to see this. They're generally already in such a strong position. They don't get to the 44-minute mark and think we're still very close.
Oh, no.
Oh, they're going to come in and get the steal! Cyanide manages to take it. Doesn't matter whether he died. He doesn't care because he's got the steal, and now Fnatic have the ball in their court. Stranglethorn's you. Peke trying to get away. He's going to get locked up. Zony's Hourglass will not save him. He will get taken down. Soaz comes in. Unstoppable Force. He's going to get dropped as well. NIP do get themselves 3 kills, but the Baron was stolen.
Lucky for them, they're able to get those 3 kills because if Fnatic escaped from that without losing anyone, that would have been terrible. And that is all due to NIP losing control of the jungle of Fnatic with vision. They didn't see Cyanide come in. He was able to steal that one away right under Maluno's nose. But still, with these 5 members up, with having a 30-second respawn timer on Cyanide, they're going to push a Spill Inhibitor turret, and they should be able to take it for free.
And Mimer is a walking turret right now. He's that strong that he'll be able to tank this one up. The rest of the team will come in. Freeze is going to hammer on that turret down, and that will be the first inhibitor turret of the game going down, followed by the inhibitor, and maybe, just maybe, they may push on through, try and steal a cheeky Nexus here because there is only 2 members still defending this one. They've got Bjergsen in there. They may be able to get the damage with that addition of the Lich Bane on towards that Nexus turret. Just the one, that's all they need. Doesn't matter. Yellowstar's going to get caught out there. But look at that. Pyjamas having to use the Zhonya's. The rest of the team coming back up there. Throws out Earth. Catches on towards Cyanide. Now needs to, Pyjamas might be able to finish the game off. They've got both Nexus turrets down. They do manage to catch on towards Cyanide. He's going to get in. The Nexus